Okay, so first of all, sorry about the noise outside. We've been having downpours. um, but while I was looking for pictures to colorize and restore, I found the most odd little bit of history, and I wanted to share it because that's what I do. I found this picture where it showed an interior. There were cobwebs hanging from the ceiling. It looked like it really needed to be cleaned. There was just clutter everywhere. You know how you go into an antique store and it's just a complete mess of things? That's what it looked like. And it turns out that it was the place was called the Cobweb Palace for good reason. And when I looked it up, it was a saloon and restaurant at San Francisco. Like, it says Meigs Wharf or Meigs. I wanted to say Fisherman's Wharf, but I guess that's not right. So you can correct me. But it was in California during and after the gold rush, and run by old Abe Warner. And it says that he was eccentric. If you look at the interior of this place, I would believe that. He traded drinks for exotic pets, curios, and pieces of scrimshaw. What would that be? Let's look it up real quick. Engravings and carvings done in bone and ivory. All right. As well as money. He was a crippled sailor. An old crippled sailor sold peanuts outside. This place gets better all the time. Oh my gosh. The palace was popular with seafarers, tourists, and locals alike. Oh my gosh, I can see why. Now if I click on Old Abe Warner, yeah, eccentric shop owner in the 19th century in New York and in New York too. So his real name was Abraham. He wasn't just Old Abe. So I think that's pretty much a given. He was fond of children, animals, art, and his collection of various items. Superstitious. He was superstitious about, or perhaps admired spiders. Oh, let's see. Let's actually click on it. I think he was superstitious about, or perhaps admired spiders. Okay, I got it. Again, my dyslexia kicked in. As he refused to kill them or disrupt their webs. That explains, okay, Cobweb Palace. To kill them or disrupt their webs. He, however, kept himself tidy and well groomed. Okay. The most commonly ordered drink in his bar was a gin and whiskey hot toddy with cloves, but he refused to sell whiskey straight. Oh, he must have been quite a character. He sold free chowder and locally made French bread alongside French and Spanish drinks and seafood. Oh, Abe Warner was born in New York City between 1814 and 1817. He was first employed as a butcher. Then in 1849 on Long Wharf, which was known as Fulton Market. It was during this job that he gained his notable top hat, which, when I was looking at the pictures, you see him behind the bar. In 1856, Warner bought a restaurant at the foot of the wharf and renamed it the Cobweb Palace. He sold the palace in an auction in 1893 and died in 1896, 1 year before his saloon closed. His bedroom upon death contained a cockatoo, which had died days before. Oh, yeah. So that's old Abe. He was a butcher before. Seems like a nice guy. He really did. So he apparently there was something about spiders, and that's why. Um. Oh, that's funny. The Cobweb Palace was opened at the foot of the wharf. Again, I think it's Meigs Wharf. You can correct me, of course, on the pronunciation. I've always known just Fisherman's Wharf. I've only been down to San Francisco once. So, on the intersection of San Francisco Mason and Powell Street in 1856, after it had left and the wharf was ownerless. So I guess the owners were Meigses, were the Meigs, from what it sounds like. Abe served patrons of all classes. The bar was named the Cobweb Palace because Warner, who refused to kill spiders, left strands of their webs everywhere. His bar's entrance was flanked by 2 Alaskan totem poles. Warner sold the bar in 1893 and died in 1896 at the age of 80 to 82. Yeah, because nobody knows when he was born. The bar closed in 1897 due to a decline in business, brought on by larger wharfs and railroads being built. A breakwater was built and later filled in. The location is now a post office and restaurant. Warner's collection included live bears, kangaroos. Yeah, because it says that he had exotic pets, traded drinks for exotic pets. And when you look at pictures, you see that cockatoo. So, like right dead in the center. So that had to be a fun thing when you walked in. So he had live bears, kangaroos, parrots, cats, dogs, bats, and monkeys. Well, that had to be interesting with all those cobwebs. With the bats just kind of all of a sudden going. Monkeys among other animals. He also collected weapons, scrimshaw, which is the bone, ivory, sculpture things, totem poles, old coins, quartz, taxidermy, masks, thousands of paintings, and other treasures. One parrot of his was named Warner Grandfather. It could swear in 4 languages. Oh, oh. Why hasn't a movie been made for this? Because at first when I saw this, I was like, how is it that a horror movie, because of the cobwebs, I was like, well, how isn't a horror movie been made for this? But just a movie in itself not been made for this. This is delightful. I am so in love with this. As well as order a rum and gum. So it sounds like Warner Grandfather, as you know, swear in 4 languages, could also order a rum and gum. That's so wonderful. He spent very little feeding his animals due to their eating leftovers and stealing peanuts from the peanut vendor who sat outside. Oh, everything was covered in dust and cobwebs, but Abe himself was neatly groomed. Charles Warden Stoddard compared the state of the bar to a witch's home and spoke of its musty smell. Some of the scrimshaw is now located in Connecticut, in Mystic, Connecticut. I wonder where the rest of his stuff ended up. That's interesting. So in popular culture, Abe Warner's Cobweb Palace is the name of a song by Kehoe Nation on the album Devil's Acre Overture. I've never heard of them before, and I can't click on it. Abe and his palace are mentioned throughout the book The Doctor's Newfound Family by Valerie Hansen, and it is also included in 6 of the Sandman books by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman likes to use people in history in a lot of his books. In fact, where did I... Oh, I put it down here. I think I've mentioned this one. Yeah. Well, he wrote the introduction, but see, there he is right there. Yeah, I'm not sorry I bought this. Some of Rudyard Kipling's horror stories are more chilling than Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan. But anyway, I found that picture and I was like, oh, and so I was curious, and then I found out, that it was called the Cobweb Palace, and so I looked it up, and I just wanted to talk about. I mean, and then to find out more about Abraham Warner. That's just he he just seems like such a character, like a nice old guy. He's a crippled sailor who, or no, it was a crippled sailor that sold peanuts outside. I'm sorry. He used to be a butcher, and then he just decided to come over to California and run a bar. and and he didn't sell whiskey straight. Oh, he just seemed like such a character. Oh my goodness. And there are pictures of. I will put this, of course, in the description for you, so that you can see the picture of the bar. And but I highly recommend looking it up so you can see like the interior and everything. Yeah, I just find it very interesting that there must have been a superstition or something that he wouldn't do anything like that. That he wouldn't hurt a spider or anything. But some people are like that. You know, you, no judgment here, because I have my little quirks. But anyway, guys, so that's old Abe Warner and his Cobweb Palace. That was in the well, it closed up in 1897. So anyway, yeah, go ahead and look it up. See some of the other pictures, like the interior pictures. I highly recommend it.